Welcome back, Cougar fans. My name is Lindley Southern with CUCougars.com, and this is your Cougar Press Pass. The men's soccer team played 2 games this week. The Cougars took on the University of Wisconsin-Stevens Point, where they fell 4-1. Nathan Goudiel and Kyle Schultz split time in goal, where they both picked up 3 saves each. The lone Cougar goal was scored by Michael Sinise. They then traveled to Eureka College, where they fell 3-0. Goudiel and Chase Zizak split time evenly in goal. Zizak recorded a career-high 4 saves. Justin Ocampo led the offensive charge with 4 shots. Giovanni Velasquez followed closely behind with 3 shots. Men's soccer will be back in action on Wednesday when they will travel to Rockford University for their first conference game of the season. The women's soccer team also played 2 games this week. They traveled to St. Mary's College in Indiana, where they lost 3-0. Brooke Sheriff got her first start of the season in goal and picked up 3 saves. Caitlin Wagner defended the net in the second half, picking up 2 saves. They then traveled to Kalamazoo College, where they fell 2-0. Naomi Gonzalez, Sheriff, and Wagner all saw time in the net. Sheriff recorded a season-high 8 saves in 36 minutes of action. Grace Chavez had the lone shot on frame. The women's soccer team will be back in action on Wednesday, where they will take on Rockford University at home for their first conference matchup of the season. The women's volleyball team competed in the Maryland Scribner Invitational at Wheaton College this weekend. They took on Lawrence University for their first match of the tournament, where they fell 3-1. India Day was the lone Cougar to reach double digits in kills, where she led the offense with 10. Rachel Livesay and Melina Adler each served 3 aces on top of Livesay's 9 digs and Adler's 24 assists in the game. Bethany Rothel led on the defensive end with 15 digs. They then took on the University of Wisconsin-Stevens Point, where they fell 3-0. Beatrice Gonsalves led the Cougar offense with 7 kills, and Neva Foster followed closely behind with 6 of her own. Eva Fitzgerald led in assists and digs with 15 assists and 6 digs. Ava Quevedo was a force at the net, where she had 3 blocks. For their final game of the tournament, they took on Wheaton College, where they fell in a close match 3-2. Day led the offense with 13 kills, the lone Cougar to reach double digits. Adler had 18 assists and 12 digs, while Fitzgerald had 15 assists and 6 aces. Rosemary Brunner tied Adler for the most digs with 12. Women's volleyball will be back in action on Wednesday, where they will travel to Eureka College to take on the Red Devils. The women's tennis team played 1 game this week. They traveled to Marian University on Saturday, where they fell 4-3. In doubles, Amelia Engelman and Amir Shakir were the lone Cougar duo to grab a win in doubles, where the score was 7-6. In singles, Engelman again won her match, concluding with a perfect day with final scores of 6-0 and 6-4. Ariana Amison as well as Courtney Schneider had a great turnout, where they both also pulled out wins. Ariana Amison as well as Courtney Schneider had a great turnout, where they both pulled out wins. Amison won her match 6-3 in both, and Schneider won after close battles with scores of 4-6, 6-4, and 6-4. The women's tennis team will be back in action on Tuesday, where they will take on Illinois Tech at home. The cross-country team competed in the Spartan Classic this weekend, hosted by Aurora University. On the men's side, Nathaniel Boxa was the first Cougar finisher, with Dominic Carlson, Nathaniel Hernandez, and William Leonard finishing shortly behind. Andrew Paz picked up a PR on the day. On the women's side, Rose Losey came in at the top spot for the Cougars. Shortly behind her were Sarah Redditch, Marlena Butler, Lydia Anderson, and Addie McKee. Both teams will be back in action on Saturday, where they will compete in the Gail Dodds Invitational. The football team traveled to Manchester University this weekend for a non-conference matchup. The Cougars won by a score of 35-14. Colton Bosch went 10 for 13 in the air with 217 yards thrown, including a program record-tying 95-yard touchdown pass. Jerron Brown once again led on the ground with a gain of 129 yards with no loss on the day, including 3 touchdowns and a 53-yard rush. Kevin Lawson led on the receiving side with 3 total receptions for a total of 102 yards and 1 touchdown, including the program record-tying 95-yard touchdown pass. Wesley Jackson picked up 1 touchdown in the air on the day with 16 total yards. Caden Strower led the defense with 12 total tackles. He also picked up 1 sack. Damian Givens and Aiden Hatchett each picked up an interception on the day. The football team will be back in action on Saturday, where they will take on St. Norbert College at home. Kickoff is set for 1 p.m. Coverage for all of our sports can be found at cucougars.com/coverage. My name is Lindley Southern, and this has been your Cougar Press Pass. Roll Cougs!